Hello everyone, April Cox here with Self-Publishing Made Simple. Today we have a topic that is very timely for many of the authors going through this work group, the topic of email marketing and building your mailing lists. So this has been a great opportunity for me to add some additional research, and we're going to kind of go through some slides I put together at the beginning here. And then if we get through that and you guys want to jump in and take a look at some of the tools or examples, then I can share my desktop and we can go through some of the practical examples of how to do exactly this through Wix or through one of the other tools. So without further ado, let's get started. All right. So first and foremost, why do we want to create an email list? I've heard some various opinions from time to time saying email is dead, social media is where you want to be. You know, focus your marketing efforts on social media, on your website, and things of that nature. What you really want to think about though is Facebook can change their algorithms. They have many times. So can Instagram, so can these other social media platforms. You are not able to take that with you. However, your email list that you build and that personal connection and marketing to the individual is something that can't be taken from you. If a tool goes away, your extracted list can go with you to a different email provider. So the social media platforms can go away, but your email list is your email list and will continue to grow. I will share some statistics about the size of, email, but it is one of the most effective methods for communication and conversion. So one of the things that I love is connecting on a personal level with the individuals that are your friends and fans. So think about, people that are buying your book, whether they're buying it at a bookstore, at Amazon, through your website. If you're not gathering an email from them to be able to stay in touch and grow, you don't have that information from Amazon. Who are they? How do I get in touch with these people? But if you are collecting email addresses, sending them to a web page that you can gather their email information and giving them something of value for that, then you don't have the opportunities to collect the information that you need. So when you do collect email addresses, you are able to connect with that person on a more personal level and allow them to get to know you. And this can be done in a number of ways. We'll talk more about automation, welcoming message, and really like just helping them to continue to find value in the things that you provide. It is one of the most cost-effective and conversion-rich platforms from a statistical perspective, and I'll share some of those statistics with you on another page here. And if you think about it, when you have a really good, solid list of fans, people who have purchased your book, and are able to reach out to that group when you have new book launches or new things coming out to kind of build some buzz and continue to get the anticipation going, a new launch can really be propelled much better when you've got hundreds of people on an email list that you're doing countdowns and saying, okay guys, it's ready, go get it. And we saw Sarah, who has been, blogging and has had a number of people subscribe to her blog. So she's capturing, emails and subscribers, and what kind of impact that made when she was able to just get them all together and let them know something amazing is coming and share new things with them. And when her Kickstarter went live, to see it funded in one day, I think a good part of that is not just the amazing human being she is, which she absolutely is, but it's also the great job that she has done with cultivating those fans and followers and building up that email list so that people would have the opportunity to be aware of new things that were coming from her. Any questions on this before I move forward? Okay, so some statistics, hold on. So in 2019, when Statista, actually this information is from Statista 2020. And the statistics that they're sharing here is in 2019, there are 3.9 billion email users. In 2023, they expect that figure to grow to 4.3 billion, which is roughly half the world's population for emails. So when you think about the sheer volume and opportunity that exists there, email is something that we definitely don't want to just ignore. So now that we know we all need to focus on gathering emails, let's talk a little bit about how we are going to gather them, or what are some of the things that we can do to gather them. When Lori Wright was here, she talked about content marketing, and she mentioned how creating freebies or things of value, and you see this with Nikki Filippone as well in her Facebook group around social media marketing. She focuses on creating some really valuable content for children with sensory issues. And so parents that resonate with that problem download, and they are happy to sign up for an email list where they're going to receive valuable information. So having some people, you might have heard it called reader magnets, or content marketing. Those are the types of things that where people decide that they are going to take a step to give you their email because what you are offering is valuable to them. And so, the magic formula is you want people to know you, like you, and trust you. So at the beginning, sometimes it's just about having something of value, whether it's at the back of your book, which is the second way that we can do things. When someone buys your book and they absolutely love it, and they get to the last page and it says, and we talk about this as back matter, and it says, go to my website to download, or to grab the free video book, or to download a free copy of my coloring book, or a free ebook if it's a print book. Laura, go ahead.
Sorry, for the back matter, is that on the inside of the back cover or on the back of the back cover?
No, the back matter is usually the last page on the inside of your book.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
So you're basically telling them, what additional, you want to drive them with that offer to your website, whether you're showing them some coloring pages, different things. When I think about Kathy Markath and the amazing book that she's creating with the monster truck and the ASL, American Sign Language, there are a number of resources she has on her website. And we were talking today about, not just taking a bunch of extra stuff and putting it at the end of her book, but let's use that opportunity to drive people to her website to sign up for her email list and get some valuable resources that are going to help them teach their children about sign language or continue to connect with ASL. And maybe they just want to be on the list because they're going to want any other books that she writes. This is such a unique opportunity. They're going to want to grab, hear about it before other people get it. They want to make sure they're on the list. So that's what we want to do. We want to drive people, and we want, from my perspective, it's really about giving them value. I have no problem signing up with email lists as long as I'm getting something in return. If there's a self-publishing checklist that I think, oh, wow, that's really cool. I would love to get a copy of that. I have no problem putting my email in, and other people won't either. And then once you've got those emails, you're going to want to start building a relationship with those people. You don't want to just leave it sit there until you've got another work group out there. So the other thing here is with regard to gathering emails, you can absolutely put your email link, your link tree. We've talked about link tree before. If you set up a link tree link, it can have a button that they click to go and subscribe to your email list. And you can connect that with your social media. You can, put that link on your Facebook pages or on your Instagram profile, so that people have a way of connecting with you. So again, another way that you can allow people to connect with you with regard to email.
April, I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Where are you saying we should put the link tree? I mean, you're saying the back page should direct them to the website. Are you saying put the link tree on the website?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I switched gears and was talking about another way that you can drive people to gather more emails. And it's really about your Instagram profile. So from social media in general, you can also have, I'm going to just let me just go in here for a second. So if I go to Instagram, so your back matter is one place. Let's see. All right, it looks like I'm still on as you, Gretch. But so here we see that there's an email address. There's a website address here for Gretchen on your profile. Whether it's a Facebook page or whether it's an Instagram page, you have an opportunity to put an email, a web address. Now with Linktree, let me sign in.
Can I add something while you're signing in, April?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's this thing I actually found. I posted it on the Facebook group where it's a scanning code. And from what I've been researching, you actually can put that scan code on the back of your book, scan it to your link tree, and then it will pop up with all your social medias. So by scanning this one thing on the back of your book, they'll be able to see all your social medias, your website, your Pinterest, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Pinterest. I think that's everything. TikTok, if you guys are on TikTok.
Yeah.
Email address, everything in one.
So that sounds like it's similar to the Linktree, and you can see here, this is my Linktree link, which is it's a website address. But when somebody clicks on it, thinking that they're going to go to a website, what they actually get is all these different options. Here's my author VIP list. So when they click on this, it will bring them to sign up for my email list. So they can subscribe. So this is another way that, to use your social media and put it in your profiles. You can there's a website for all of your Facebook pages too. It has a link that says what's your web address. So tools like this Laura, if you could put the name of the one that you were just talking about into the chat, that would be great.
Yeah,
But
I'll
this,
find it for you for sure. Give me
yeah, and
one
this is
second.
also, this one's called Linktree. So it gives you the ability to have one email, you know, one link that breaks down if people want to hear about my books, my videos, so this takes them to YouTube, my VIP list, help for authors. I think I go into author resources from there, or schedule time with me. So this is something that I use, again, to connect and to give me another way of connecting and gathering emails. There's also
Stop. Where's your sloppy mouth?
anybody, let's talk a little bit about how you guys are collecting emails. For those of you who have started, does anybody have anything to share? What have you collected? How much, you know, how many people are on your email list?
Hey, April, I had a quick question for Laura. It's like a QR code, right?
Yes, it's exactly. So like if you guys do have, Snapchat also, if you guys have Snapchat, or if you ever go to the mall, you will see like a little, it's like a square kind of, and it has you can basically generate one. But now that April was talking about Linktree, you can probably make one to generate it to Linktree. That way, instead of generating it to only one of your social medias, you can generate it to Linktree.
Okay.
And then have everything there. I'm just trying to find the website right now, and I'm going to post it in the chat. Just give me 1 second.
But it's basically like a QR code, correct?
Right, it sounds
Exactly, yes.
Okay, because I have one on the back of my book that takes to the website, but doing it to Linktree might make more sense, I guess.
Yeah, so flowcode.com, I'll write it in the chat right now. I didn't know the technical term. Flowcode.
Why is it better to direct people to Linktree than to direct them to a linked page on your website?
So I think it is when you know that you want to drive people to sign up for your email, then I think it is better to go directly there. Like from the back of your book, I would say drive them right to your email list, to whatever resource you're talking about. With my Instagram and Facebook followers, I have no idea if they're wanting to sign up for my email list or they want to connect with me for a free consult. So by having one email, one web address, giving them multiple options is very helpful for me. Because if they click on that link tree, they'll be able to choose what it is they want. And signing up for my email list is one of them.
I do
But you
think
do lots of things too, so yeah.
like you're just asking though about whether it should be to your link tree. I think that can be like depending on what you're trying to do. Like April said, if it's on the back of your book and you would like to get that, and you have like a series, for instance, like Karina's going to have a series, it might be beneficial to just drive it to your website where they can see the rest of the series and press buy right there, rather than like, oh, what do I do with all these social media links? So I guess it kind of depends, and that's something that
depends on what you're trying to do. But for the sake of this particular presentation, we're talking about ways that you can improve and increase your subscribes to your email. So Deborah asks, what happens if Linktree disappears? Well, it's just a collection of links. So if it disappears, there's other websites like it, or you can just point people to straight to your opt-in, if that, or a page like it on your website that says, here are all the different things that you can do. So it's not bad.
April, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a 32-page picture book, like right here, and this is 32nd page.
Yep.
When you say you put the email information in the back of the book, then would you have to put it on the inside of the back cover?
You could, but what I prefer to do, I prefer to add some additional pages and make it 36 pages instead of cutting it off at 32 and not having enough room. So for example, I might add about the author and illustrator, you know, some other kind of information, maybe earlier on in the book, a letter from the author or something to get you to that 36 pages. And actually, you probably just need to get to the 35, because if it's print on demand, the 36th page is going to be printed on from KDP anyway. So I would prefer to add more, and it doesn't add more to your print costs unless you're going to go over 50 pages, and then you start seeing an impact for the additional pages. Okay, so how else are you guys capturing emails? Sarah, you've had a great opportunity through your blog. That's another, you know, for those of you, we are all writers. So blogging is one of those things that, you know, you can really develop a nice following from the blogging perspective. There's Sarah. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I would say that like a huge percentage of, probably the most of my subscribers are from my blog. However, since I've started this author journey and learned about opt-ins and landing pages, I have recently, you know, definitely gotten more subscribers in a shorter period of time. I don't have numbers on me, but it's definitely, so blogging, that's, you know, it gives people the opportunity to read your stuff, fall in love with you and what you're putting out there. And then just kind of like really focusing in on what is your audience interested in. And for me, what's really helpful to figure that out, I did create an opt-in. My first opt-in is like a gratitude journal. I did like my first volume, and I'm going to continue creating them. And so I put that on my Facebook page. I send it out in my blog, or I post it on my blog, send it out to my already subscribers so they're not left out. And then I have different landing pages. So the landing page, I have one linked to my Facebook author page. I have one linked to my Instagram. I have one linked to like this first gratitude journal specifically. And it kind of really helps you to evaluate where most of your new subscribers are coming from, because you can see, oh, I've gotten 100 new subscribers on my author page. And on Instagram, I've only gotten 5. So it's like you either realize more people are interested in what I'm doing on Facebook and try to kind of like convert that over to your other media platforms, or if they're really connecting with your opt-in, doing more of that, or if they're not connecting with your opt-in, maybe thinking about, do I need to change my strategy here? Right. So yeah, just developing a good opt-in, figuring out what your people like. For me, I blog about looking for positivity. So for me, a gratitude journal made sense. But, you know, I also have a lot of people interested in dogs who probably couldn't care less about a gratitude journal. So I think somebody commented like how many resources you should create. And I don't know if there's, I would say the sky's the limit. You don't want to like create too much so that people are like kind of like don't even know where to begin, because I think sometimes people can be overwhelmed and just kind of give up if there's too much. But I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of having separate niches, and you can throw them out on separate landing pages and people can be like, oh, that's the one about dogs, that's the one I want. So yeah, landing pages, good opt-ins, blogging, those have been
and Sarah, you're a good example of really cultivating the leads that you do get and continuing that connection with them, because no matter what we do to get emails, if we're not connecting or we're not communicating with them, it's not going to be all that interesting, and they may not even open the email from us when we've got something really important that we want from them.
Yeah, and that's true, because I do think consistency really helps. At the same time, I think if you are too overbearing, people are like unsubscribe. So
right,
you do have to find a balance there.
A couple of other things that just popped into my head also that I've used to grow my email list as well is cross-promoting with other authors. For example, if you've got, say, 2 or 3 other authors who are in the same exact niche as you, and you have a new, you're going to send out a newsletter, they're going to send out a newsletter, or you all have blogs, and you can get together as a group and say, we're going to cross promote each other. I'm going to write my blog, and I'm going to gather some information about you guys and say, if you love my books, you check out these as well. And maybe there's a few images at the bottom. They do the same for you. And what happens is now you've got like a whole new audience opened up to you. Yes, you're going to have some overlap, but you also have an opportunity to open a whole new area, a whole new group of people would may get to know you. And so that is really helpful, doing things like that. Another one that I've done is giveaways, and usually that's partnering with other authors and pulling a giveaway together, and people have to opt in for the giveaway. I've seen Ruth, I don't think she's on today, but she's been doing, for her launch team, she's been doing raffles. Oh, there you are, Ruth. So do you want to tell a little bit about what you've been doing and how your email list has been growing?
I will post on Facebook raffles, like depending on how many people signed up for my email. So like this last time, I thought of this after I had gotten some people on my email. So I actually gave them tickets, like hypothetical tickets, every time that they would that they would sign up for my email, and then if they reposted or shared my Facebook. And so last night I did the first one, and I actually had 125 people sign up for my emails within, I think it was like less than a week. Mm-hmm. And I would put posts pretty much every single day, saying the book is coming, it's almost here, or give a little information about the background of the book and how it actually came about. And then I had another 25 shared in a 2-day span, 3-day span. And then, so then what I did was, a friend of mine said, get an app on the internet, on your phone. And so I got this app that was called Random Drawer, and you basically you print out your list. So what I did was I went into my email and I printed out the list, I exported it, and then it had a number next to each person. And so my numbers went from 1 to 221, because it was the combination of the things that I did. And I put it in, and then I just hit generate, and it brought up a winning number. So that's how I actually picked it. And what I noticed was, and I told April this, I went live doing the picking of the numbers. So I literally went on, and I should have given them more time, but I didn't. But I had probably like 25 people actually join me on a live. And I just went on and explained what I did, and then picked the numbers. And I guess that was 2 nights ago, last night I actually made a new flyer up saying that if by Thursday we have more people that share, more people join the email, that I'll do another raffle on Thursday. And I'll do it the same way. And I gave them a time. So like by 7:30 at night, 7:45 is my live. So it gives people enough days to know that I'm going to go live. So from yesterday to today, I have 38 new people, new emails, which I think is pretty good considering it's only been like a day and a half.
And I think one of the things that was beneficial for you, Ruth, is when people go live and they're sharing a video, people on their list and on their, their extended list see a notification that you're live. Mm-hmm. And they also engage with it much more. especially when you're right straight to the point, you're not rambling around, you're getting people excited. And so that can really generate a lot of interest.
Well, and I haven't done a live in a long time. I did one maybe a year ago. I did a whole month of it, 30-day challenge to do a live. And so that's where the bravery comes in, because after you do them over and over and over again, you kind of just go with the flow. And when I went on, I hadn't gone on. And so it was a whole new setup. And so one of my friends says, wow, Ruth, you actually did a pretty good job, considering you didn't look like you were flustered or anything. When I actually I'm like, okay, well, you know what? This is a whole new setup. I'm not quite sure if it's working yet, but you know, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to run with it. And that alone, one of the things that I learned is that being authentic and admitting that you don't know if you're doing this right or not is one of the ways people can connect with you. They're like, oh yeah, that's me. I don't know anything about Facebook Live. And so I think it helps. I also think that going live actually helps you to sell your book. Like for me, personality is what's going to help me, I think, more so than anything, because I get really excited about the book. I get really excited. I was just on a Zoom with a Spanish exchange student of mine that she's helping me convert it into Spanish. And I was talking about it and I was so excited. She's like, oh my God, Ruth, I can see that you just love this book. And so I think when people see you online like that, you're just your authentic self, you're being who you are, then they'll just be there for you because they want to make you happy. They want you to succeed. So that's their way of helping you succeed. So my 2 cents.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Vicki Weber's video about how she has created a launch team for her most recent book, she ended up with 800 people, most of which were not authors. And the way that she markets to them, like she shares in the video the post that she used to put into the various Facebook groups that were where her readers reside. And she drives them to an opt-in page, and she uses email. So she's collecting their email, and she's using a very simple process, but she's getting people onto her email, and she's talking about the launch through that email list that she's got. So she ended up with over 800 people opting in because of, and I think part of it is just the way that she handled it, how she made it very simple for them. She made, they didn't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to be on her list, and they got something of value, which is an advanced copy of the ebook. And she told them exactly what she wanted from them, which is read the ebook and go and post a review when it's time to, when the book goes live, share some information for her. But she made it very, very simple. And it didn't have to be a Facebook group that goes on for 6 weeks. So I did post the link in our Facebook group for Self-Publishing Made Simple for this particular work group. I posted a link to the video, which was really, really good. So you can check that out. But that's another way she drove an additional 800 people to her email list. She had a great method for adding them to a launch team. And, she has some, it bears going back and watching that video. She did a really great job with it. Anyone else have a question or anything on this before we move on?
I just wanted, maybe you already talked about this more. I was a few minutes late, but just the whole group strategy. I'm still learning it. I'm not the person to ask about it, so don't ask me. But I'm starting to fiddle in it a little bit now that I have a little more time since launching. And that's just where you find the people who are going to be excited for your niche. You have your friends and family. That's awesome. That's carried me pretty far. But then, that's Facebook groups. It's really kind of a very brilliant strategy. That's find your people who are interested in those groups.
Find out where your perfect reader lives, where they hang out, what groups are they a part of, and connecting in those groups. It can be overwhelming, because if I look at Labradoodle groups, there's so many of them. And, you want to be able to be active in the groups. So I think, just a few groups or a handful of groups are better than 30 or 50 groups, because you want to be authentically building relationships in those groups, not just posting like hit and run. Hey, go, do this, do that, or hey, here's my book, but really honestly building relationships. Okay. Taryn says, are all the freebies original created content? Most of them are, Taryn, although you can curate content from other areas or other people. For example, when you're sharing information, there's a lot of, for example, American Sign Language resources, and Kathy's not going to create all of the things herself. She'll have a number of resources. Maybe she'll reach out to other partners and say, hey, I'd love to share this on my website and give you credit for it. Would that be okay? And so you can build those kind of partnerships and be able to generate. And there's also people out there that just curate content. They go and look for an article written on the topic, and then maybe they write a blog post commenting on the article. So they didn't have to create the article about whatever topic it is. The article was there. They just they're using their commentary to go through it. You see that a lot too on YouTube, where people will pull in and curate content about a particular topic by taking other people's content and kind of using commentary or additional things to make a point, pulling multiple people's information in as a resource. Here's the top 10 leadership quotes on X. And they'll pull in clips of all of those leaders. And so they didn't have to necessarily create something unique and new, but put a unique spin on it. Okay.
Thanks, April.
I'd like to ask Rachel, are you able to unmute and chat for a second? I want to use Rachel as an example. She has been doing crochet for a long time, and she has groups of crocheters that are part of her groups. And, so kind of translating what she has and how she's targeted those groups and how she's going to continue to grow. Rachel, can you talk a little bit about what you've done so far to gather emails, and then, how is that going to be planning to shift a little bit with your book?
Okay, well, I'm probably the worst person in the world to ask about collecting emails. For the first 3 years that I did Frog Cooker, I didn't collect any emails whatsoever, and I gave away thousands of free patterns. So, yeah, I did great. But what happened was I found out that through the resource that I use to give away online patterns, there is an automatic collection of the email lists. So with April's help, we were able to go in and extract that file, and that got me 3,000 followers right away, or 3,000 email lists, or yeah, emails. I did do a mail out to them, and a bunch of them bounced back, and a few of them even reported me as spam. So, I'm sure that list is, I lost a few on that first send out because people were like, how did she get my email? And then it's dwindling, I think it's going to dwindle down, but I've also got a good amount of people who were happy that I had their emails, so it worked out good. Mm-hmm. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm setting up a free pattern. I actually have a free cowl right now where it's set up so that if people want the free cowl, they click on the link and then it says, where can I send your cowl pattern to? And it takes their email address, and then they get their, it's an automatic send out where they get the PDF file for the pattern. So I plan to just do that with all of my patterns from now on that I put on my blog. It's just going to be, where do I send this? And then I do have some ideas about using my group. My group is, I've got 4.1K members in my crochet group. And again, I've been really bad about utilizing that. I've kind of taken it for granted, to be honest, because it was extremely easy for me to build because I wasn't trying. I really, and I think that was the secret. I wasn't trying. There was no pressure. I was down in the States and I wasn't even allowed to earn any money while I was down there because my husband was on deployment. And without doing this huge amount of paperwork, I wasn't allowed to earn. So I just started Frog Cooker for fun. And there was absolutely no pressure whatsoever. And I think because I started it for fun and I was just having fun with it, it grew. It grew fast. So what I do plan to do is, touching on Ruth's thing that she just said, I plan to start going live because I need to reconnect with my people that, you know, I built this tribe and then I kind of didn't really do much with it. So I need to reconnect with these people. A lot of them, and I will tell you this from having a group for years now, your first little cluster of people, that first 100 or 200 people that start following you, it's kind of this strange loyalty they have towards you because they know that they were your first followers. So I still have, amongst the 1,000, I have this little group whose names I recognize from the very first few members I had, who are eager to support me and who really speak up and get things going for me, and will create some excitement and some buzz on things. But really value those first members in your group because there's some sort of special connection there. I'm not sure what it is, but there's some sort of special connection. Yeah, and then so lives, and then give stuff away. People love free stuff. So yeah, if you say I'm going to give this away. The other thing is people love little like raffles, like Ruth was saying. Back when I was growing my group and growing my following, I would just do $10 credit in my Raverly store. And people would sign up for this $10 credit, and it was just usually like or comment on the post and share it. And, you know, I do have to warn you, that's against Facebook standards of what's the word, operation or whatever. If you go into the actual legal document available on Facebook, they say that you are not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to say, I'll give this away if you share.
Can you do that on Instagram? Do you know, Rachel?
I have
I've
no
seen
idea,
that.
but they are owned by the same company, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's the same.
I think it's all in the way that you word things.
Yeah.
My friend,
Go ahead.
my illustrator's daughter's in the publishing world, and she had gotten, I think it's her cousin or somebody does all this stuff, but he said legally you're not supposed to ask for anything. You can say, encourage them, say, you know, share to a few friends, but you can't make it part of, you know, you have to do this in order to be counted in. I usually on my Instagram giveaway, I just count everybody who, you know, likes the post, and, you know, if they commented, lovely. If they didn't, that's okay too.
Okay, because I've seen a lot of people will literally, on the picture, it'll say giveaway, and in the comments, it'll say how to get it, but it won't say in the comments what to give it away. It'll be a picture saying giveaway.
And I mean, I think sometimes to incentivize it, people like say get an extra entry by doing this rather than.
Right. Yeah, I think it's all in the way that you describe it.
Okay.
Rachel, the other thing that I've seen you do recently is really building up a lot of anticipation with the people that are in your Facebook group. And I can imagine that since you've stepped away from your group for a while and it's continued to grow without you, there are probably a number of people in that group that you don't have their emails for.
Yeah.
And so as you're building up and sharing pictures of Puppy Pete and the different illustrations, pictures that you're taking, you're building a lot of you know, people asking you, hey, when are you going to release that pattern, or what's going on with the book? And that's a great way of really, because then when you do put it out there, you're going to have people flocking to it to grab the pattern or to grab, you know, whatever it is that you're offering and to get in on this exclusive thing that you're doing.
Yeah, though oh, there's a question, Rachel, were the 3,000 patterns extracted from the Facebook group? No, they were extracted from an online service that I use called Raverly. It's specifically for crocheters or knitters, and you put your pattern there and people can download it from that site. So that's where that came from.
Rachel, did you make up this pattern for the dog, for the puppy Pete?
I've made every single pattern for the entire
Wow.
for the entire book. Yeah, no, I didn't copy or use anybody else's work.
Wow.
So this was part of my decision process too, is that at the beginning I was going to do a pattern book, but I really want to do the children's books. That's where my heart is. I want to do the children's books. That's what I'm enjoying. So what I'm going to do is just put my patterns up for free on my blog with, give me your email address, here's the pattern, instead of making a book for the patterns. But that means that I don't have to make a pattern for every single item that I made, because some of them were pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So this way,
like the lamp.
Yeah, the lamp was a little bit challenging. Not so much in making it, but in sharing step by step of how to do it. It's going to be hard to tell other people how to do it. So
I know everything's amazing, but that lamp, if you guys have not seen this lamp, it is beautiful. Like, you want a real version of it.
oh.
It's stunning.
Rachel, I think that you made a really good move doing the kids book. I think that is so unique in the niche. I just think was a really cool move. I know it was your heart. It wasn't just a business move, but I think that it's just so cool and unique. I love it.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. You're awesome.
And we can pop in and we can take a look at the landing page that Rachel's using. And I just did a screenshot of my own landing page to get an email opt-in. So I offer a free download of my ebook. And this is kind of, I mean, it's not the whole page. It's more of like a snapshot of the in-between page. But you provide the details of the offer, some visuals, like I have my a preview or book trailer, I should say, about the book. I have a pretty mock-up there. And then your book is waiting. Where should we send it? And then you can see underneath where I'm collecting their email, it says, by submitting this form, you are opting into our future giveaways, specials, and newsletter updates. Don't worry, you can opt out at any time. And then I link my privacy policy as well. So this landing page on my site, and you guys could test it if you want. I'll put the link here so that you can see what happens when you do. Let's see. I'll put the link to everyone.
When you give away a free ebook, do people ever come back and buy your physical book? Or do you just give it because you're trying to collect their email address?
Well, for me, collecting their email address and having an opportunity to, you know, generate a new fan is enough. But I imagine that there are other people that when they get that, you know, that there are a portion of them that get the email and then come back and either purchase on my website or purchase on Amazon with additional versions. And what I'm doing is in the back of this free ebook, there's, you know, something that drives them to go and see the next book, you know, or go check out this book 2 that's now available on Amazon. So if they get book 1 for free, the other part of the magic is, you know, getting them to be driving them further through the series. So that read through. So many people, if they've got, you know, a 5 or 10 book series, they will be fine with giving away book 1 and try to just get them in and get them moving through the series. So it's not very easy to track, obviously, and I haven't really tracked a lot of that. But this is kind of the basic general thing, and this is a really easy page to create on your website. But when we talk about email software, there are a number of email tools you can use outside of your website that also allow you to create these landing pages. I've had some of you say, I don't have a website yet. That's okay, because the email services you can sign up for, like MailChimp, MailerLite, and these others, they have landing pages. You don't need a website to do it. You can create a landing page and automations through these email tools. You don't even need a website. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens here when somebody gives me their name here and they click submit. On my website, and you can
I just did it, April.
Okay, you can replace it with on my you know, email tool, whatever. There's an automation that happens. There's an automatic thank you that goes to them. And some people, you know, you can decide if you want to attach to that thank you the freebie, the free PDF, or give them a link where they can go and download additional things. So those types of automations can happen by themselves. But one of the things that I really love to do is not stop there. So when you're doing these automations, this is immediately upon clicking of this, it tells them, you know, they get something. But I have another automation that says day 3, email them, you know, a follow-up, just saying, I hope you like the book. I have a little something else for you, and it might be a couple of coloring pages. And then, you know, day 5, they get another email saying, I hope you like the book. Would you please consider giving me a review? Now, I'm not doing all of this. It's happening. It's building. And so some people might have, you know, a sequence of a dozen emails that happens over a 6-month period, just to keep, they call it warming up your audience. Like, how do you want this particular person to experience you, to get to know you? You can share things. You can provide them with extra value. You know, I give them other areas where they can, or where I tell them a little bit about my next book in the series, or tell them about what else is going on with me and my business. And all of this is happening automatically through these automations, using either your website automation functionality or through these mailing list functionality. And if you're not really good with words, or really good with, you know, creating that kind of text, you can take a stab at it. And there's a gig that I have on Fiverr with a guy who is really great at wordsmithing things and writing good copy. So I send him the stuff and I say, here are my emails. They're not that great. Can you make them better? And he sends them back to me for something like 30 bucks. I get some really nice email from somebody who's really good at copy and really, you know, good at making sure the copy is helping build a relationship versus making people want to opt out. And Jasmine's asking me, do I use workflows? I don't. I just use automation. So an automation is more of, you know, day 1 do this, day 3 do this, day 5 do that. Some of the tools that these MailerLite and stuff like that might call it a workflow, like this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. So perhaps, yeah, perhaps that is something that that could be considered a workflow.
Thank you for mentioning that, Jasmine, because that's been driving me bonkers on MailChimp, wondering how I can set this up, because like on my automations, it's not an option. Like there's an option, do you want this to send out immediately or at a different time? But there's no, do you want us to follow up? So, but I know I'll have to check it out. I think there's a workflow thing, and I've never actually heard of that.
What workflows typically are, you know, do this, then somebody else approves it, then this happens, then it goes to this person. So typically what I'm doing with my automations is I'm just sending emails. I don't necessarily want to add things in a workflow that I need to act upon, because it's just giving me one more thing that I have to do, and I don't necessarily like that. I want to try to automate things as much as possible. So best email services for authors. I went to Dave Chesson, Kindlepreneur, and he did a beautiful blog post where he evaluated what are the best email services for authors. And this is how he ranked them. I was surprised to find MailChimp is number 4 out of, you know, so it's toward the bottom. MailerLite ended up being number 1. Mad Mimi ended up being number 2. ConvertKit was number 3. And he goes through all of the reasons why, what he tested. And then after all of this, when he came out with MailerLite being number 1, he and his team created a free MailerLite training, which is available on kindlepreneur.com for authors to get familiar with MailerLite. So free MailerLite course. You can find the blog post, Best Email Service for Authors, as well as the new MailerLite course right on